Good morning, everyone. So today I'm going to explain about constructor in Java. So first we should know what is constructor. It is used to initialize the object. So before we dive deep into constructor, so we should know the actual properties of constructor. So the first property is same name as class name. So the first property is same name is class name. So the constructor name and the class name should be same. So this is the first property of constructor. And the second property is it is invoked automatically. So whenever we create a new object to that class. So this is the second property of constructor. And the next one of the most important property is no return type. Because in Java, whenever we create or we define or we define a function, so it must be declared with a return type. So here in constructor we no need to use any return type. So these are the main properties of this constructor. So the term used to initialize the object is because of this reason only it is used to say initialize the object, because whenever we create a new object to that class, it is invoked automatically, right? So one of the main property of constructor. So I will give you a simple example for this constructor. Just assume that class class name as sample, and so as per the first property of constructor, so it must be same name as the class name. So name of the class is sample. So I'm going to use the same name sample as the constructor name. So here simply I'm going to display it is a constructor. So within main function, so I'm going to create an object. So as we all know, the syntax of object creation, class name, object name equal to new class name. So, so whenever we create a new object to this class, so the constructor will be invoked automatically. So the reason behind is, so usually in Java, if you want to create a method, so we need to define with a return type. So here we have to differentiate this constructor with the normal method. So that is why it doesn't has any return type. At the same time, it has the same name as the class name. So these are all the main properties, and this is one of the simple example. So after creating object in this statement, so constructor will be called and the statement constructor will be displayed as an output. So this is one of the very simple example, and there are two types of constructors. So one is parameterized constructor and default constructor. So default constructor means, okay, when a constructor defined without any parameters. So this is one of the example for default constructor, because there is no any parameter list in this constructor. So it comes under the first category, default constructor. So when it comes to parameterized constructor, constructor must be defined with some parameters. Simple one. The same example, I'm just going to update it. So now the constructor is going to declare with a parameter a, and that belongs to integer type. So here I'm going to print the value of a. So a is the concatenation operator plus and the parameter a. Now from main function we need to pass the argument. String arguments, and here so declare a variable the name x and get the input. So it can be like a static declaration or a dynamic input. So now I have taken a static input 1. So name of the class, object name equal to new class name. So as we all know, constructor will be invoked automatically whenever we create a new object to this class. So since the function is constructor is defined with a parameter, while creating the object itself, we must pass a value because we don't need of this declaration. So because if it is a normal variable, we can declare a variable like this and we need to pass a value. So here we can directly pass the value to this constructor like this. Otherwise, suppose we want to create a variable and we need to pass, means instead of the value, simply we can mention the variable name. So this is all about the types of constructor, parameters, and then default constructor. And here in Java does not support copy constructor because the reason behind is the copy constructor in C++ uses pointer. So here in Java does not support pointers concept. So that is why that type of constructor will not be cannot be included in this one. Thank you.